Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzz Live here on a Thursday night. Appreciate everyone for being here. I see the chat is already full of some fine folks hanging out. Yeah, we have an interesting night here tonight on Publicly Buzz because Dan actually he took a sick day. You guys are going to have to get at him and Twitter and on X and let him know that you're not going to tolerate it. Now, something is going on with Dan. Nothing serious, but he had to take the day off. But filling in, I got none other than... who could you get to fill in for Dan, but none other than an amazing guest, an expert guest. We have defense attorney Bob Motta, ladies and gentlemen, from Defense Diaries podcast. And let me get him over here real quick. Now, I appreciate the hell. Boom. How do you being here, brother? First of all.
Oh, thanks for having me, Steve-O.
Dude, definitely, man. This is fucking awesome. And again, late notice.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, like, but you were game.
No, that was no problem, dude. But I fell asleep. I almost slept through the entire stream. So I woke up like in a panic like 10 minutes ago because I dozed off for like apparently 2.5 hours. I was tired.
Dude, this is a lot.
Uncle Bob got tired.
Hell, you just got back from where were you at this weekend? You're at a con this weekend, wasn't you?
Yeah, we went down to Austin, Texas for the True Crime Podcast Festival, which was
that looked fun.
It was cool.
Dude, I saw your post. Man. That looked super cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And you're getting ready to go to Crime Con.
Man, yeah. I'm doing that. Y'all are coming with me next year.
Dude,
I'll definitely do that.
I hope so, man. Even if I can't get in as like a podcast or something, I'm just gonna go get a table or something, brother. Like network the hell out of that shit.
Yeah, the way that's what you do. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. Is the networking at those things. But like the thing, like you should definitely do the True Crime Podcast Festival that I just went to. It's going to be in Denver next, and it's in the spring, so it's coming like quicker than we'd think. So it's not like. It's not happening like in August again. It's like they're moving it up, so it's going to be probably in May, something like that, April, May.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's great. Like they had a couple of YouTube shows there, so that it's not just strictly podcasts. It's YouTube,
that's awesome.
Podcast, all that shit. Yeah.
Is there a similar type situation of just putting in a resume, basically, like letting people know what you do?
No, like you know me, so. You're in.
Oh shit! Well, hell yeah, damn, let's go.
Yeah, dude. Like that one, you're 100% in. Like with Crime Con, yeah, it's the whole. You got to put the application in. They never look at it. Then you're basically sneaking in. This is like this is a whole different thing. You'll get your.
I'm with you.
You'll have a
I'm
table.
on your team.
You'll get. Yeah, exactly. You'll set up. You guys will be. You'll have your whole shit up. So it'll be cool, man. And it's worth it. It's really a good time.
Now, it probably won't happen, honestly. This is probably too early for us to do it. But I did put in for CrimeCon Extra as a podcast, so we'll see what happens. But either way, I'm going, brother. I'm going to network the shit out of that.
Dude. You got to, man. You got to.
Yeah, Denver. I've never been to Denver. Never been to Colorado.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's going to be a blast, man.
Hold on. Holy shit.
Because I kept doing it in Texas.
I'd like to go to Texas, too. I haven't actually ever been to Texas either. I wouldn't want to go to Texas in August, though.
Yeah, dude, it was like hell.
Dude,
literally. It was like 110, probably about 150% humidity out of like 100. It was like you couldn't walk out of the hotel. It was so hot. It was.
Yeah, I would melt. That would implode. The ginger body would just poop. Like.
You become a loaf of gingerbread.
Holly Berry coming through with the $1.99 out the gate. Boom. Thank you, Holly Berry.
All right.
Hell yeah. Not even joking around here. Yeah, let's see those sabobs in chat there. Hell yeah. That's what I like to see right there. Boom.
Yeah, we got all the folks there.
Boom.
Missy.
Yeah, we got a full house, baby.
Missy, ma'am.
This is awesome. Hell yeah, guys. Yeah, we're covering a couple of things here tonight. One thing we're going to go over is this crazy story out of Florida right now. I know everybody on Twitter is waiting for me to try to butcher this guy's name. I've got this fucking name, okay? Xuming Li. Xuming Li. Okay? Now, yeah, this dude has been, again, he's out on bond. I've been tweeting about this. I posted the video yesterday, the video that's kind of circulating of him actually putting something under, this unexpected the neighbor's doorway with a syringe. I sent that story to you today. Was that the first time you got to look at it, Bob?
Yeah, I had heard a little bit about somebody like slipping poison in somebody's door, but I hadn't read the story yet until you sent it to me. And then so that obviously fleshed everything out. It's crazy. It's like it's a neighbor dispute. Like I've had those. Those things are fucking insane, dude. Like neighbor dispute. Typically it's like two houses and like it starts over like a battle over like whose land is what, and then it grows into worse and worse shit. This is like, they're what in an apartment building in New York, man.
He's pissed off at his upstairs neighbor and this guy has a wife and a kid. It's not even like the baby crying. He's pissed off at the vacuum running, the toilet seat creaking. Like, what the hell?
Right.
Like, they have no control over this
like
stuff.
Everything. Right. And he's like blaming the people as if they can control what the building sounds are like, or the fact that, the walls are like crepe paper and you can hear everything that goes on. And he's like, I can hear them putting the toilet seat down. I'm like, what? That's a thin wall, bro.
Actually, I'm going to get the video up here too. I posted this on my YouTube yesterday. It's been kind of going everywhere, but the creep factor of this video, folks. Again, just knowing, honestly, I'm glad that the dude put the camera up. I'm sure he is too, but okay, hold on. Let me put this over here real quick. Now, have you watched this video,
clearly
Bob?
They were suspecting it.
Yes.
I mean, they knew something was going on, and they were pretty sure it was that guy. They just didn't know what he was doing.
They're like, wait a minute, we're having a dispute with somebody downstairs. Here you go. For anybody that hasn't checked out the video, here it is. It's very short.
There he is, preparing his gases, his vial of goodies. He's about to slip in there. Look at this guy, man. Whoop! Whoop!
So creepy. Yeah, like again, man. Again, the unfortunate family here. Umar Abdullah was the guy's name. The upstairs neighbor told the affiliate that after months of back and forth between them, the whole family started to feel sick, from grogginess to vomiting. Abdullah and his family began often feeling ill, and then a friend smelled chemicals when she went to bring in a package for the family. Now, a lot of times in these situations, I don't have any kind of actual on hand. Like, I've never messed with.
I don't understand the hydrocodone. Like, I don't understand. Like,
I saw that.
I don't know if it was like an interaction between the two different like
methadone and hydrocodone.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, the guy's a chemist, so
right.
Clearly he knew that, like, when you put those two things together, that they create like a noxious gas. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't think either of them alone. Because like methadone is what they give you when you're trying to get off drugs. Like if you're a heroin addict, they give you methadone. Hydrocodone they give you if you're in pain, right? I mean, they're medications. So he, like, because of his chemistry background, he must have known that mixing those two together, I guess in liquid form, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
And it created some kind of like invisible noxious gas.
And kind of reading through here, this was from the New York Times, because they're saying the same thing, like, maybe together something's happening, but maybe there's something else also added by this guy. And we're still early. The samples are still undergoing thorough testing, but yeah, right here during the investigation, an officer.
I was reading and I just didn't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is creating?
Wait, methadone.
When I read the two things they were reporting. Yeah, what? I'm like, those are like medications. It's medication.
Yeah. There's got to be something else mixed into that somehow.
There has to be.
And even right here, it says during the investigation, an officer who was exposed, had skin irritation and had to receive medical treatment. So, I mean, it's got to be something else going on.
Yeah, it's weird, man. No, Joni, he's like he's a chemistry guy. The guy's like he's getting his PhD. He was enrolled in a PhD program at the University of South Florida in like chemistry. So like that's what he was doing, he's like sitting in there. But I mean, to get to the point where you're hatching plans, like laying in bed, listening to the toilet seat of your neighbor get shut, and they turn the vacuum on, and he's just, I could see him in his bed just going fucking nuts. You know, like
He's going to the lab. He's like, I got to get to the lab.
Yeah, screaming into the void. And like, he's like, I have to get revenge on these people. It's such a weird story, man.
I'm with you, Mandy. These PhD fuckers out here.
Yeah. So they end up charging him with aggravated stalking.
Yeah.
Battery.
I do have something cool here.
Like 4 or 5 charges.
So
it's the possession of a controlled substance, battery, aggravated stalking. That's like, those are some of the charges. Like the cop one's just a throw in. They always do that shit. They throw aggravated battery in there. Oh yeah, I was injured. It's a throw in charge.
And then possession of a controlled substance. Like, I guess that he created, right?
Right. Well, no, I mean, hydrocodone has to be prescribed. So does methadone. Those are both controlled substances. They both fall. They're in the statute.
Okay.
So, they're in the schedule for the drug schedule. So anything that, like on drug charges, anything that falls into, the schedules, those are covered under the statute. So, and those two are certainly, because you have to get a script for both of those. You can't just go like buy methadone over the counter,
That's true.
Hey man, where can I get some methadone?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Methadone?
Yeah, we have methadone clinics, right? Like, trying to get off of heroin and whatnot. Yeah, familiar with that term. Definitely being in West Virginia, methadone clinics lurking.
Yes. Yes.
And then also here we got his cash bond here. And I mean, like we were talking before this, and like you said, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't do anything. But still, this motherfucker's on the street.
Yeah. Like doing some fucking insane shit. You know what I mean? It's like, because this guy had to know they had a baby. Like that's a reckless disregard for, human life, really, I think. I'm surprised. I think look, they can always add charges. You know what I mean? They're not foreclosed from adding a charge. Like if they get some shit back from the lab, because they had to have talked to somebody and said, look, is this shit, could this have been deadly? Like they had to be talking to experts and finding out whether or not if this particular mixture could have caused them to die over, if it would have kept going for months, and if that's the case, then you throw an attempt murder in there, then he's not bonded out, but when you got you're getting bond on ag bat, like the jails are too full, dude. They're not going to have fucking, they can't put everybody in there with no bond on some like relatively small charges. This is like if you got pulled over with like a grandma blow, and then
you fault the cops a little.
Girlfriend by calling her too much on the phone.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Like texting her constantly. So, because that's basically what these charges are. But it's such a weird crime that I'm sure the state was like struggling trying to figure out what the fuck to charge him with.
Yeah, that's what's kind of messing with me, because at the end of the day, I'm seeing this video. I think he was trying to, I mean, I don't want to say kill him, but he was doing something, man. It was fucking weird.
He was doing something.
Now what happens down the line if they end up getting sick? And well, I mean, I guess that's where more charges will come in, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're gonna they're figuring out like what this shit is, because they obviously are having to guess to a certain extent like what the chemicals were in there, but then they have to try to figure out like what is the end result of that, like what can that result in, just like burning eyes and like what was going on with them, or is it something like with Corey Richins, who was poisoning her husband, you're trying to kill him over time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if this guy was trying to kill this whole fucking family because you could hear the toilet seat being put down and vacuuming, it's a good thing they got him.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It was only a matter of time before this guy was completely unhinged.
Yeah. I mean, imagine this guy in the workplace. Jesus.
Well, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's mass shooter material all day, man. It goes, first I got to quiet the people that are making noises above me, and now all my classmates that really annoy the shit out of me, I'm gonna have to take care of that.
That's the vibe.
I'm not using a syringe. Yeah, that's
100% the vibe.
Because that's what I'm saying, man. Like you have to imagine this guy, like because you have to plan something like this.
Oh yeah.
Like I always, it's like I do on my podcast. I'm always trying to set a scene. Like it's like somebody has to get to this point to where he starts thinking, okay, what can I do? Like, what can I do to like I think that his goal was probably to get them to move out. You know, that they're like, what? Like, you know, they start complaining about the smell and they're like, what the fuck? And no one can figure it out. Maintenance man, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're like, well, fuck it. Like we have to break our lease and we out. And then he figures he wins, only to have the next neighbor move in and vacuum.
The toilet's going to be the same.
Yeah. It's a building problem. It's not a people problem, at least according to this thing. But that's like, if this guy didn't make a statement, then, I mean, they're basically having to base what they think that he was complaining about based on the arguments that the two of them were having. You know, so because it's weird. If they have a baby, you know, the baby's crying, you would think that would be the thing.
That's what I was figuring out.
It's like your baby is crying nonstop.
Yeah.
Your baby cries all night. I haven't slept in months. I'm going to poison the whole family if you don't fucking get rid of that baby. Put that baby up for adoption. Right, it makes
a little bit more sense than the other. I mean, even though it's still fucked up, but
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one though. I see that. I think I read that he has his next court appearance is in December, so I'm going to try to remember this one and see exactly where this goes.
I think we should try to. Let's see if we can get this guy on the phone. Let's see if we can call him.
See if he'll talk to us. Yeah.
I mean, he's out on bond, dude.
He is. That's right. Hey, Mr. Xuming Li.
I think we should hit him up. All right, who's our best researcher in the chat? Somebody get us the guy's number. We're going to call him right now.
God, that won't take
Steve
long.
Steve and I are going to call this guy right now, and I'm going to ask him some questions. I'll interview it. Steve, I know you'll be nervous, so I'll do all the talking with Mr. Lee. Yeah. We have you on Publicly Buzzed here. We want to ask you a few questions about this bizarre story of you. He's probably a very like quiet, meek guy. You know, I mean, creeping around doing that kind of shit's crazy, man.
Oh God, he's gonna be a CrimeCon, dude. He's gonna be creeping around CrimeCon.
Sean, CrimeCon hasn't happened yet, man. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Yeah, CrimeCon. If y'all aren't going, that's September 22nd through the 24th. So,
it's getting close. 3 weeks.
It's a huge event. Like CrimeCon is like, I don't know, maybe like 50 times the size of True Crime Podcast Festival in terms of like attendees. It's huge because there's like just a million, but there's so much shit going on. It's a completely different vibe.
The guest list is nuts. It's like who's who of this entire industry, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Bob's energy is unmatched. He has a nap too, guys.
What?
I'll say your energy's unmatched. You got that nap in, baby.
Yeah, dude, the nap. The nap was very, very, very helpful in terms of the energy levels. Because I crashed. It's like there's always this one position that I get in on the couch that like my entire family knows that I'm going to be falling asleep within like 7 minutes. It's like,
yeah,
because we got like a sectional type thing that my dog has basically destroyed. So the thing's beat to shit, and I'm like, I'm not buying a new couch because the dog will destroy it. So it's like, but it's a big U, and so like whenever I prop a pillow up, like kind of a corner move for like the pillow, and I put it in this certain position, and I lay down, everyone in my family knows I'm going to be asleep in about 2 minutes.
It's over.
So I was like, I fell asleep, and Allison was like either like exercising with the Oculus on or doing the rowing machine. And like, so I'd zonk out, and I think it was like at 6, and I wake up, it's like 8:46, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm sleeping through the fucking stream, man. And I'm panicking, and I'm all you know how, you know, there's that like with, as far as naps go, there is a sweet spot, right? We all know that you can't sleep over 2 hours. Otherwise, you're a groggy piece of shit.
Yeah,
like you're basically
might as well sleep the rest of the night.
Sleep. Right, you know, so it's like I did not mean to sleep that long. But I keep like, so my kids started school, and so Scarlett, who you guys have seen many times, I've had her pop in. She always does pop-ins. She went to middle school. So last year, school started, I had to have her out by the bus by like 8:11, right? Which is fine. That's reasonable. Now she's got to be to the bus stop at 7:07, and like school start. They're like in a seat in class at like 7:25 in the morning, which is obscene to me.
That's insane.
Nobody needs to be.
Never had anything like that when I went to
working.
school. That's insane.
It's crazy.
That's
No one
insane.
needs
Now, I
to
was
be
on the bus at
working
7:20.
or-
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So she's getting up at 6, which means that I have to get up at 6 so I can make her breakfast so we can have some solid hang time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get her to the bus, we shoot the shit, you know, I make her lunch, and you know, so I'm exhausted, dude, because I go to bed late.
Yeah, same.
You know,
That's.
I'm a night owl, dude. You know, I mean, so it's like.
Are you one that like
eventually...
if a movie gets put on, like you ain't making it through that movie no matter what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like if I run into Shawshank, it doesn't matter what part of the movie it is, I'm watching it. You know? If I run into The Natural, and you know he's pulling Wonder Boy out, I'm watching it, man. It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's
Pulp Fiction's like that one for me.
As soon as you see it on, you're like, ooh. You know what I watched the other night? I wanted to revisit, dude. Was Minority Report. Remember that one with Tom Cruise?
I do remember. I'm about to Google it to get a refresher here.
What? Jesus Christ, Steve.
I'm sure I've seen it.
Oh, my God.
2002.
Yeah, it's basically, there's these 3, like they call them precogs, that sit in these pools, and they're all psychic. They can all see the future.
Okay.
And so they what they do is they harness their visions and they're inputting information. So basically, the whole concept of the movie is they can stop crime before it happens because the precogs are seeing it. Like, so if there's a serial killer out there and they're planning to kill somebody, like the precogs are seeing it. So it's kind of like the concept of 1984 with thought crime, you know.
There was a Black Mirror episode sort of like that.
Yeah, there was. Allison said she was watching the Black Mirrors finally because, like, what's the consensus? I heard that this last season was pretty disappointing. Like, I kept reading that people were a little bit disappointed with it.
Disappointing for.
Did you watch them all?
Yeah, I've watched all but the very last one. If that says anything about their season, but the third episode's amazing. Like, it's all time great. But the rest of them to me kind of fell flat. They're okay. Like,
yeah, I watched the first one and I felt like
I forget the name of the third one, but it's the one where they're in space and they can basically send their body, like their actual bodies are in space, but they can like kind of send their, you know, a version of themselves back to Earth, like an AI version, I guess, or, you know, holographic version.
Okay.
But I think it's like actually you can actually touch them. But that number, I would just say episode 3 of the new season's legit. But yeah, I thought it fell kind of flat too.
Well, I mean, considering how great the other seasons were and considering how long they took to bring out the next season, I mean, it's been years.
It takes so long, dude. That's so frustrating. My favorite episode ever, do you remember the one, I forget the name, it's the first one from season 4, I believe. The dude's working at like he's basically like, he's cloning people. He works with these people and he actually takes their DNA, he takes it back to his house and he's cloning them and put them into like basically a video game that he's in. Also
Black Mirror?
Yeah, that's Black Mirror. Hold on, let me find the name of the
remember
app.
that. That's what I'm saying, dude. That
trippy, like
that season came out like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's been years.
Yep, yeah.
This isn't like Game of Thrones, like you get real depressed because you got to wait a year and a half, but you know it's like this is more like Curb Your Enthusiasm type shit, where like when Larry David decides he wants to make a new season,
there'll be a new season.
Like 4 years later, he's like, let's do it. Let's make a season. You know, so it's like that. This
one right here.
Because I thought I saw all of them.
Like he puts these people into
Star Trek one.
Yeah, basically his vision is like he wants to be like he's in a Star Trek type. It's even like sitcom-y, like it's a 1960s sort of version cheesiness. And but right. Here's the thing: once he actually clones these people, like they're actually have feelings, right? They are people inside of this game now. But it's fucking trippy, dude. It really fucked with me.
I'll have to revisit that one because it's not even ringing a bell.
Season 4, episode 1. That's my favorite one ever. Actually, I love that one.
The Star Trek one.
Yeah.
I think they were like Star Trek, right?
Yeah, it's like it's called USS Callister. But yeah, that's the exact vibe. Like.
That was a great one, man. Like that one I do remember. I didn't remember they were cloning people. Is that the one that was
Yeah.
doing it?
Yeah, he was like taking like, you know, a napkin out of their trash can, like one of his coworkers, and then he was taking that back to his house and then actually cloning them and you know, putting them into this game essentially, into like this virtual reality. It was fucking weird, man. That one really got me.
That is fucking crazy. Oh yeah, you says, oh yeah, that's the first one I ever watched. Probably why I still have my ancestry DNA tube that I ordered 4 years ago.
Dude, man.
He's like, they send it out, and he watches that episode. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not sending that shit off. Fuck that.
Yeah, that one's messed up, man. There's a lot of good ones, but and like I don't know, like I hate the fact that, like you just said, you got to wait 5 years to get a season. You get 5 episodes, and then 4 of them aren't that good. Like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, dude, it's like right. You know, it's because like now they're leaning into having big actors in it. You know, so they don't think that they need to have the quality.
That's true.
Like they're leaning into, oh, we got star power, so we don't need to write as great of episodes. Because some of those episodes, like the one where everyone had their social currency, like in order to get into a certain building, like every interaction you had,
I remember that
you
one.
would get like either like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and it affected your rating. Like we all had rating. I'm like, that's exactly where we're going in real life.
We're kind of ish.
No doubt about
like,
it.
We're closest to that one maybe than any of them, right? Like,
oh, for sure,
like,
dude. Like that
one's
we're
creepy.
gonna skip it because AI is gonna kill us all. But yeah, like if we were to survive somehow AI, that would be the one that would happen for sure. But don't worry, we're not gonna
make
AI,
it that far.
So. No.
We're not gonna make it that far, baby. Now, Bob, have you been keeping up with? Well, I know you have. I saw you've been tweeting about it. But the Idaho and the new Bryan Kohberger stuff.
Yeah, I was, Pops is always on there making sure that I put the right shit up. So I like the first thing I posted this morning, because it was scheduled for the motion to dismiss on the indictment. And I didn't realize, because I follow so many cases, I can't keep there's so much action on that on the docket. I didn't realize that got kicked to September 22nd, the motion to dismiss the indictment. So I think all that's going on tomorrow is this interveners pleading that was, the media filed to fight. It was a motion in response to Kohberger's motion to get rid of the cameras.
Yeah.
So and they scheduled that for tomorrow, and he was like, yeah, the media's like, no, fuck that. So, because that's the way it works. When you have the media, they'll all get together, they'll hire an attorney, and they call them interveners. So they can intervene. They're obviously not parties of the case.
Yeah, that was the first time I'd heard that term.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens all the time in criminal cases, where they want to televise it. Like it happened with the Delphi case too. Like any kind of high profile case where the media feels like they're being denied access, they'll these these pleadings will come up, and they're called interveners. So it's interesting, man.
One of the other ones that I did want to get your take on, that because I don't think we've talked about it. Like I made a video on it, but and I don't know if we'll even hear anything now, but the Gabriela Vargas stuff, when she was actually on the stand, what was it, the 18th, talking, I believe it was August 18th, and she was talking about the DNA and the IgG
she's
stuff.
The IgG expert. Yeah.
So at the end of that hearing, is this kind of what we're seeing right here? This one right here, the motion to temporarily seal Exhibit B of state's notice. Is that the FBI stuff? Are we never going to get to see that?
Well, yeah, but what happened with that is that they turned around and they said, oh, because basically the way they left it, because she had not provided, or she provided her CV or her resume late. So they didn't get the CV for that particular witness. So at the hearing, the state was, whining that, well, how do we cross-examine her? We don't know anything about her. So what the judge did is they conducted the hearing, but they reserved the right to recall her in order to cross-examine her at a later date. So I think what happens in the interim, when everybody's up in arms, like, why the fuck are they sending the feds? And I was too. I'm like, wait, you're sending the feds?
That was confusing.
Interview, it was confusing because it's crazy. It's crazy that they did that. So at that point, they must have been interviewing her in regards to instead of sending an attorney, They clearly sent the feds to go interview, right? Which she could have declined. You know what I mean? She could have said, no, you can't come into my house. Like, why are you here? It's like any law enforcement interaction, unless they have a warrant, you have no obligation to talk to them at all, even though they make you feel like you do, which I'm sure they made her feel like she did.
Right.
That's a cop move. So, but yeah, so it turns out that after the feds talked to her, they decided that they don't want to, because there were 2 witnesses that they reserved the right to be able to recall to cross, and they're not going to cross either of them. So, like, it sounds like it was much ado about nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was interested in, because when I read the FBI thing, I was like, what the fuck? Like, how could this get any deeper and weirder, this case, right? Like,
right.
But then I actually started looking into that lady, man, and she knows her shit. Like, she solved multiple cases, like cases that were considered unsolvable.
Yeah.
So she's pretty legit.
She's legit. I mean, and I think I was reading about her that, she was like a hobbyist, like initially, like a lot, that's kind of one of the things. And I don't want to get on my whole IGG rant, because which is really a fascinating conversation, like legally, it's like, I don't know if you ever like are watching like kind of my Twitter battles with the prosecutors podcast, like on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like where we're kind of going back and forth on that, which is an interesting argument, because you're basically getting to see a defense attorney and a prosecutor arguing about this, because prosecutors always want more. They always want law enforcement to be able to have bigger reach, longer reach. They want them to be able to investigate more. Defense attorneys are always trying to protect our civil liberties and saying, back the fuck up, relax, dude. Like, you don't need to be all in our shit like that. So it's like, it's that give and take. And with with the IGG stuff, it's such an amazing advancement, that we're going to be able to solve does. We're going to be able to identify does and solve cold cases. And theoretically, that's why I kind of brought up the Minority Report thing. Like, it's similar. Like, that's to me what we're moving towards with the IGG. Because, like, have you ever read the book by Orson Welles or seen a movie like 1984? Do you even know what that is?
I do know what that is. Yeah. I've never read the book, but we actually had to watch that in high school, one of our classes, like English class. But
right. So it's like, but the concept of that is that they would arrest people for what they call thought crimes.
Right.
So like, if you thought about doing some illegal shit, they were arresting you, which is like basically what was going on Minority Report. That, because they have the 3 cogs, these 3 women all like floating in a pool of liquid that are all connected to like computers that have visions of what's going to happen in the future. So law enforcement uses them in order to stop crimes before they actually happen. So when people are just thinking about it, they're getting placed under arrest without having actually committed the crime, but they've thought about doing it.
Wow.
So IGG is not quite that, but it's like moving towards that.
That's the future of serial killers. Knock, knock, knock.
That's what I'm saying. But the interesting thing about IGG, like, so say for instance, in Kohberger's case, like, you have to have an expectation of privacy in something, okay, in order to make a Fourth Amendment claim. Okay, so say for instance, if I was at your crib and I left a bloody knife that I had just killed somebody with, okay, and like you didn't see me when I came in, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put this under fucking Steve's couch right here, because fuck him. And then we hang out, we smoke a huge joint, I fucking leave, and I leave the knife. And then, the cops are walking by your door, and they, they're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to go fucking search this guy's house. So they go in without a warrant. They have no probable cause to enter. They're searching. They look under the couch. They find this knife. They then run the DNA, and I was very sloppy. I wasn't wearing gloves, and I left my fucking DNA on the goddamn knife. So they run it, and then they use IGG, because my 17th cousin, 3 times removed, did Ancestry and then opted in. And so now their profile's in there, and we share the same YSTR strand. So they're able to narrow it down, and then they start doing the family tree shit. And they're like, this Mata guy, I don't know, he does a true crime podcast. He seems like a real fucking creep. So let's dig into this guy. This guy's like all about murder. Like this guy talks about murder every day, right? So this guy, he's probably the guy. So they go and they do some digging. They're like, he's got some shady shit, and we have a DNA match on the knife. So they arrest me, and then I say, wait a second. I'm like, that search of my boy Steve's apartment was illegal. You can't just fucking search. So I tell my lawyer, who's Allison, of course, I say, hey, Bay, you got to file a motion to suppress for a Fourth Amendment violation. And she's going to look at me. She's going to say, dude, you don't have an expectation of privacy at Steve's house. You have no standing. So that is like, you have to have standing. You have to have, like, we have an expectation of privacy in our own homes. We have a diminished expectation of privacy in our vehicles. Okay, but you have to have that in order to move forward, in order to have what they call standing, to move forward on any kind of Fourth Amendment violation. So what's happening I gave you that hypothetical because it's basically the same argument with IgG because of that shared DNA. Now, the opposite, like I can't help the fact that my entire male line for 1,000 years shares that identical YSTR strand. It's the way it is. We've never had this available to us. There's never been any kind of science or technology that we had this kind of access. So like, I keep making the argument that I do have an expectation of privacy in that person's DNA because it's fucking mine. Like where like any like so like and Brett would come back at me with like this thing with like, he'd say, okay, but we don't really have an expectation of privacy in our text messages. Like that was the first, there's this case, a Supreme Court case called Carpenter, and where they kind of delineated like, look, once we blast a text out and it has to go, it's routed through our carrier, whoever our carrier is. So it's like, I text Dan, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking murder Steve tomorrow because he's a fucking giant piece of shit. And Dan's like, oh, dude, do it. I'll have the whole show to myself. It'll be awesome. So then you miraculously end up dead. And, again, they're like who's on their streams all the time? Like, let's go back and see who's on their stream. Like, oh, there's that Mata guy again. He seems like a murdery motherfucker. So let's look into him. They get a fucking probable cause affidavit to search my phone. And they also subpoena the phone company. Okay, so the argument was for many years, look, I have an expectation of privacy in my text. I'm sending a text from one person to somebody else. It's a private communication. I had no intent for the world to be able to read that. It's an illegal search. It's too broad. You can't do it. And the Supreme Court had said, okay, well, here's the problem. Once you hit send on your text, you then sent that text message to a third party, and you voluntarily destroyed your own expectation of privacy in that because you knew that it's not magic. It has to get routed through your carrier or their signal, because obviously they're keeping everything in a database.
Yeah,
I mean, their servers.
No, that makes sense.
Like if I subpoena phone, yeah. So basically with that, but it's different because of the voluntariness of me hitting send. Like that argument can hold water because I did once I hit send and sent it off and I knew that it was going to a third party, I voided my expectation of privacy in that text message because I knew a third party was going to have it. Now, when you're talking about DNA, it's not voluntary. I can't help the fact that my cousin, 17 generations before me, has my same DNA. There's no voluntariness to it. It's going to get litigated because it's a fact. Like, my whole thing is I want to use the technology, but they need to get a warrant. It can't just be a fish. Like, if we allow it to become a fishing expedition where they could just say, okay, we got some DNA from a crime scene. We're just going to throw it in there. And it's like, I mean, like, you have to balance, like, do we want to stop however many murders take place in the country at the expense of 300 plus million people's civil liberties?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I do want to stop murderers. I really do. But we can still do it. Just have probable cause. It means build a case before you run in there just on throwing shit in a database. And it's like with the touch DNA shit, we know with Kohberger, you know how slippery that's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like it's like it's inviting a nightmare because
And
it's going to be
that's
abused by law enforcement. It's a whole thing, man. It's like we'll do a whole stream on that.
dude,
I'm going to
that's
make you read a bunch of articles, and then I'm going to quiz you before we come on.
dude, let's do that. And dude, this is the most interesting part to the Kohberger thing I think that's even happening. The Vargas stuff, when she was up there actually talking about the possibility of law enforcement actually being on these websites and doing it nefariously, right? Maybe acting like a consumer and not law enforcement to get this. That makes sense. Like, and that's where the argument's going to come from the defense, dude. Now that makes a lot of sense. Like, and I can see why they're pissed.
So, like, yeah, dude, it's scary because
Very
like,
scary.
the databases are only going to grow. Like that's the one thing that people are not taking into consideration. The more of us that decide to do ancestry and like there's a huge part of me that wants to do that. I'd love to know my genetic background. I'd love to know where all my people are. I mean, I'm going to tell you a fucking story about a friend of mine that I've known really, really well their whole lives. And he told me like last summer, he's like, dude, so I have to tell you, man, he's like, I want you to sit down because this is going to blow your fucking mind. And I'm like, okay. And so he's like, are you sitting? Because it was a phone call. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, so his wife's family had sent them for like Christmas ancestry kits. So, you know, they send you the vial and like the test tube and shit where you put your buccal sample in there and you fucking send it off. So he did it. And he gets it. Now, this guy spent his entire life believing that his father was his biological father, and his mother was his biological mother. His whole life, and I thought those were his biological parents like the whole time. So like as soon as he starts the story, I'm like, "Are you fucking like adopted?" He's like, "No, it's even weirder." So he's like, so I get the results back, and I'm looking through the results because they send you like every connection that you have like all over the world, like people all like anybody who's done it who's in the database, they're going to say, okay, you have a familial connection, there's a DNA connection to this person that lives in Norway, you know, or wherever they're living. So it turns out that his father is not his biological father, and that his mother never told the father that he couldn't get her pregnant. So she had gone to a fertility clinic in like upstate Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So my buddy then finds out that he's got like 18 half brothers and sisters around the world from this same donor. That's
crazy.
Wow. I told him, I'm like, dude, I have to do so then like they're all, because like people that do Ancestry and me or 23andMe, you know, like they all kind of like they interact, they have like Facebook groups and like it. So he like starts reaching out to all of his siblings, and this guy's like fucking 40.
Yeah.
It's like his whole life changed like dramatically.
That's insane,
like,
dude.
In the blink of it, dude, it was fucking crazy.
So is that going to fuck up? I don't
like,
know if you know. Is that going to fuck up his relationship with who he thought it was his dad?
Well, his dad died.
Oh fuck!
Like last year of a heart attack.
Damn.
Like, or an aneurysm. So it was like, and I'm like, did you confront your mother with it? Like, because like the questions I was like, because what I wanted to know is like, did dad know? Because at first I'm like, oh, she had a fucking baby with the postman or the milkman, whatever, you know, old school shit.
Yeah.
For in vitro.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, man, it was like she went to a clinic in Washington State, and like this guy had like, you know, because that's how clinics work like that. They'll use a semen sample, you know, because there's a lot of little dudes swimming in there, and they'll use it with numerous people, you know, like, and so dude, it was the craziest thing I ever heard.
That is crazy, dude. And yeah, like you said, his life completely flipped, and which I mean, I guess he wants to know the truth, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, it blew my mind, man. It really, really did. I was like, holy shit, man, that is fucking
Have you ever?
crazy. I really
do
want to do like a docket on it. But like my whole point of bringing that story up is as the databases grow, because right now they're making the argument, look, man, they have to work really hard with IgG and this isn't back when my grandma was making my family tree and the amount of digging that she had to do pre-internet to put together generations of my shit. That was digging.
That's some work.
Like they can put together these family trees in a matter of minutes these days. Like that's fact. So they're overselling how hard the IgG portion of it is. Yes, there is still some jigsaw puzzling to do and you got to do some research, but like in terms of like comparing it to what it used to be, it's night and day. What's up, Drunk Turkey?
Oh, what's up, guys? Yeah, dude. And the one hey, hold on. Dude. Now, have you ever done a 23andMe? Have you ever done the Val stuff? You ever seen anything in? Are you in the databases?
No, man. No.
Yeah. I don't think I want to.
Fuck them, dude. No way. Are you kidding?
They're gonna come knocking.
It was like you, like one of our viewers, like messaged in there a chat. He's like, yeah, dude, I got that. Like he had just watched that episode that you were talking about. Like in his tube came like, because he's like, well, now I know why my ancestry, because he had just watched that episode. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that now. So that was a great advertisement not to send her shit in.
Yeah, that was I'm glad I could help everyone out with that. That's also the episode that ruined it for me, quite honestly. And dude, and being so deep in
saying, like, he's like
and being so deep into true crime, dude, and seeing like all the shit that's going on. Like you said though, like, do we want to stop the murderers? Because it does do a lot of good. There's a lot of good that can be done, but I mean, we don't want to. We don't want to tread on these rights, baby.
You can still use it. Just get a fucking warrant first.
Yes.
All
have probable cause.
You've developed the case. Have some probable cause. It can't be the first move, because if they allow that is always going to be their first move. And it's super volatile. Like, it's just a violation. And they're going to start snagging up people that are not the murderers because of touch DNA. Because it's like, we're learning now how easy it is to leave DNA all over everything. I mean, I've known it because I've dealt with criminal cases where I've had Carl Reich, who's a fucking genius DNA expert, testifying on my client's behalf. And like, he breaks it down, like, dude, we leave our DNA all over the place all the time. It's like, you've heard about the one case with the guy who got arrested. He was kind of a homeless guy, and a murder takes place, and they end up arresting this guy because his DNA was found on the fingerprint of the victim. And when they ran it and they had to do some IgG, they were able to locate this guy. They arrest him, and like, he goes through the entire process, and then they end up discovering that the same paramedic that had treated that guy earlier in the day, because he was an alcoholic and he had drank too much. So like, somebody called, and that same paramedic who had treated him transferred DNA to that victim of that. Yes, exactly. Lucas Anderson. Yeah. Thank you.
That story's fucking crazy.
I mean, it's fucking crazy, but it's going to happen all the time, is my point.
That's going to be a regular occurrence.
Be like, oh, that's a fucking crazy story. That's going to be like, dude, what are we going to do to stop like the wrong people from getting arrested on this DNA shit all the time? Because it's too like, yeah. So it's a thing, man. It's definitely a thing.
Real quick, I just want to go back up through here. I've seen a lot of folks giving out some memberships. Let me shout those out real quick. Debbie giving out a membership. Who's got that son of a bitch Lutz? Welcome to being a publicly buzzed member. And then Dara, like Sarah, I didn't fuck it up this time. I fucked it up again the other night. Liz,
are you calling her Dara?
Dude,
I'm calling her Dara. Come on,
it's like,
dude.
I start rolling so fast, and it spilled out of my mouth.
Yeah, don't make up that excuse. You just mispronounced her name. And to be honest, Steve,
you're right.
I would have fucked it up too. I would have called her Dara too. So I'm right there with you, bro.
Liz,
I see the Dar, like how do you say the word dart?
I've never seen that name in my life.
D-A-R. That's what I'm always like any D-A-R. How do you say par? C-A-R. Any A-R to me is pronounced R, not air.
Dara, I think you say your name wrong. I think it's Dara. I think that you.
So we're going to start a petition so that Dara. Oh, see, I did it already. So that Dara will pronounce her name correctly. Sorry, Dara, I know that this is going to upset you, but we're going to have to get it because otherwise Steve and I will butcher it in perpetuity forever. Like he'll remember it now because people were giving him shit about it earlier.
That's how it happens.
The next time he's gonna accidentally do it because our brains work in such a way that he's going to read it phonetically and he's going to mispronounce it. So I'll get that petition drafted up.
We'll get that going, yeah, baby.
We kid, Dara. Here,
Dara, we love you. We love you so much. Dogfan78. Totally. Here's a name I'm probably gonna fuck up. I think it's Tiara, T-A-I-R-A, Tiara. Tara.
I'm gonna go Tiara.
Tiara. I think it's Tiara.
Is it like how do you spell it?
T-A-I-R-A.
I'm gonna say Tiara.
Tiara. I think you're
Somebody
right.
give us a thumbs up if that's correct.
And CW, and then we got one more. Hold on, real quick. And I seen all them beers flowing out. You guys are amazing. Yes. Oh shit. Angel D became a Buzzed and Confused member. Yes. Hell yeah.
Freaky time. Where's the clips, dude? Like, where's our shit?
I've got them on the wrong screen for that. Hold on.
When Dan's not here,
it's all went to hell. It's all went to hell. 1 second. Here you go.
All right.
Actually, they didn't pop. Son of a bitch. I quit.
Son of
a. No, we appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank y'all so much. What a crazy ass crew we got here, anyways. Looking through the chat here just for a second. Steve called her Pam too. Who? What? Who was I calling Pam? What the hell are you talking about?
Wait, you were calling Dara Pam?
I don't even remember that.
Angel, why you gotta be fucking with my boy, man? He's sensitive about stuff like that. He cares about being, thoughtful to his guests. He doesn't want to be fucking people's names up.
God, dude.
Like,
did you know there's drinking games about me fucking names up in private chats?
Okay, well, I was not going to hold you responsible for fucking up that dude's name today because it's Asian. I guess you pronounce X's like Z's, right?
I think it's
the rule.
Well, I listened to the Today Show clip, and I think it's Xuming Li. Xuming Li. I'm pretty sure.
So Xuming.
Zhu is in it.
It's
yeah,
kind of like a Z sound, like Xuming.
Yeah.
I mean, the Li part was pretty. I had a lot of faith that you were going to be able to pronounce Li.
I got Li, baby.
It felt like I was looking at it after I read that comment, and I can't remember if it was a Twitter or whatever it was, and I was like, oh man. I'm like, I think Steve can do Li. I think he's going to nail the Li part. The first name, I think he's fucked on.
I got it, though. I'm telling you. I think I got it.
Dude, welcome to my world. Like, any kind of cases that I'm, covering on the pod, I always, I hate, butchering people's names because inevitably people are going to be like, oh, you fucked up this guy's name. It's like when I first started, reporting on the Idaho 4, the Moscow shit, and I did my first episode on it, and I'm calling it Moscow because that's how it's fucking spelled.
Yep,
Moscow, Russia.
Yep.
I'm like, and people are like, you would not believe how many of my listeners are like, yo, by the way, I just want to let you know it's pronounced Moscow. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck do they have the W at the end? Drop the W.
Yeah, dude. It's spelled the exact same way as Moscow, Russia.
Exactly.
It's literally the same.
You know what, Steve? Fucking phonetics count. That's
they do. They should. They should anyway.
They do.
Now I've got a.
Hey,
this
man,
is funny.
I was going to ask you, wait before you. I wanted to ask you, who writes up your? Is it you or Dan that writes up your show notes? When you got a stream coming on.
Me.
Dude, those are fucking great. You're really a good writer. I meant to. I wanted to message you that you are. I'm not saying that in jest.
Thanks, man.
This isn't one of Bob's jokes. I forget which one it was, man, but you did a really nice write up on it, and it was fucking really well written. And I'm a writer, so it's I just wanted to before I forgot, I want to let you know.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah,
dude.
Writer, dude. Yeah, that's all me, man. Just always trying to make it sound as good as possible.
I might have to hire you to write some of my episodes, motherfucker. That's what.
Oh shit. Let's go, baby.
Hey, you're into the true crime game now, man. So
that's true.
Let's go.
And the video style of it, I would, it'd probably take time. It would definitely take time, but to take the Gacy tapes, dude, and to make those docu style, I think that'd be really intricate docu style. I think that'd be dope, man.
right, because like Darren did, like, you know, he did the thing where he put some pictures up, like, you know, but to like do it in a way where that's the, you
make
know,
it
the
striking
soundtrack for it, and make it super fucking dope. Have like a bunch of like gritty images from the 70s, because like when I
that's
watch
all I'm
shows
picturing
now that are like, yeah, when they capture like that grittiness of the 70s, I love that shit. Like Winning Time, the Lakers thing on HBO, like they really capture like that feeling of the 70s, you know, like even the filming in terms of what they use camera wise is like spot on. Because like, have you gotten to the part where they planted the evidence in Gacy yet, like on my pod?
I think so, yeah.
Have you gotten to like, yeah, so like I'm gonna get that made into, like, that's gonna be a scripted movie. There's no question about it. It's an unbelievable story, and it's how they got the guy. It's like the greatest fucking. It's true. It's like a true story, and it'll be a cop story. It's not gonna be a Gacy story. It's like it's how they got Gacy, and like so I've been looking. I'm like, who, like every show or movie that I see that kind of nails that 70s vibe. I'm gonna be like, yo, I need you to direct this movie for me because you fucking crushed that 70s shit. And you know, because it's like I have the vision of exactly what it's gonna be like. Like Gacy's never gonna be on screen. He's gonna be like Jaws, like in the first half of Jaws, which if you know the story about Jaws, it's like Spielberg, the shark wasn't working. So he, but like production had to start. The clock was ticking, you know, money was rolling. They had to fuck. So he's like, he pivots, makes the entire first half of the movie without the shark, and it turned out to be genius. It's like that created way more suspense. Not seeing the shark, just having it be kind of omnipresent. You see the dorsal fin, you see bodies floating up on the beach. You play that fucking music by John Williams. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, dude, like nailed it. So like Gacy will be like that. He'll be like off screen. You'll hear his voice because it's a cop story. I don't want it to be about Gacy. I want it to be how they got him. So yeah, like that. I love that shit where they just nail that like 70s vibe. Because there's certain creators out there. Like I thought Murphy and his Dahmer thing fucking nailed like that time frame, that period of time. You know, because it's not just like the styles that people were wearing and being accurate as to what model cars were out there for, you know, Boogie Nights. Yes, another one. They nailed that. They nailed that. Like, you know, because it's like those. At this point, dude, it's been so long. Those are like period pieces. Blow, yes,
they are, dude.
Both awesome fucking movies on top of it. Like both of those movies are fucking killer. Like even what's the one with Christian Bale, where he's in the fucking mirror putting his fucking like the greatest like comb over scene in the history of movies. Like they're both, somebody will know what I'm talking about. Like where he's sitting there with like the glue, like fixing his hair because he does this comb over thing, and the whole scene was it's like a fucking smuggling movie. It's American something. I can't remember. It escapes me, but they captured like that time period perfectly too, you know. And it's like it's everything. It's like set design, it's costume design, but it's also like the cinematography and being able to capture like a period of time. Because like we're talking about like the 70s is a period piece. Like you're talking about like old England type shit. You know, people are like, oh, I don't like cowboy movies because it's like those are definitely period pieces because it's a period of time.
American Hustle. There shit. You go.
Yes, Sean B for the win, baby. That's it. Like how Sean B, how great was that fucking comb over scene? Like, has there ever been a better scene than that? Like, it was so good. Have you seen that?
I've not seen that movie. No, I've not seen that movie.
Oh man, it's got a great cast, and that scene is like, oh, well that's
what.
But that's just the greatest.
That's a good one.
Comb over gone awry scene of all time.
That's a good one.
Like when he's bowling with the rose and the fucking ball and his fucking comb over.
That's one of my favorite movies ever, dude. Fucking Kingpin.
Dude, me too. It's hilarious. It's so good.
Hey, when I get off here tonight, I'm going to go watch Minority Report, though. So, for real. I'm literally going to go watch that. Because it sounds dope, dude.
It's like, dude, it's super dope. It's like the plot line on it. And this thing was made, I want to say like mid-90s, maybe late 90s, maybe early 2000s. But like the interface that Tom Cruise is using, because he's the cop, is like, like, do you ever watch movies that are like that were made a long time ago that were futuristic, that trying to like kind of figure out, like, you know, obviously
what was
Star
going to be
Wars,
happening?
what was it, and like how kind of spot on they were. And I always wonder, is it like the design ended up looking like that because of the movie?
Because it's already in our
like when you look at two, you know what I mean? Or is it just because that director had vision way beyond the technology? You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting thought, dude.
It is, man. Like,
that's an interesting
think about
thought.
how much shit actually looks like the shit. Like, I imagine at some point, if we survive AI, it's gonna look like just like Blade Runner up in this motherfucker, man.
It is,
you know,
yeah,
like,
dude. And they nailed that
like.
in what, the early '80s, yeah. And dude, even some of the like '50s and '60s, some of that sci-fi stuff, like it's almost like it's like the same, but it's like we've just made it smaller, right? They've just made it smaller, but it's still sort of the same,
right?
Like
it's
we still sort of guessed what it would be like, what rocket ships would look like before there were fucking rocket ships. Like, that's a fucking crazy thought.
Dude, like, it's crazy. Man, you know we're going to see TIE fighters at some point because those things are bad as hell.
Like, I mean,
those things are amazing.
Yeah, dude, that's breaking my brain right now. Does shit today in the future look like it does because of the designs from the past? Well, that's a crazy thought, bro. That just broke my brain.
Steve. You're welcome, Steve. Now, when you get off and you blast a huge joint, I want you to really figure that shit out for me.
I'm going to go do that, start Minority Report, and then we'll have a good-ass night.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you that Minority Report's a good flick. You know, because, like, Tom Cruise is hit or miss, but, like, that, like, the plot points. But, like, when you see the interface that he's working with, it's all like holographic. It's all like a hologram. So he's swiping, picking files, like his entire computer system, like there is no physical piece. He's just swiping in midair, and which is going to be exactly what it is.
Yeah, like, I think like there's even stuff that's sort of like that now. Like
we're close.
Yeah, dude. There's like these tables that are like the. I'm going to sound stupid even saying this, but the computer's in the table. Like you're just like swiping a literal desktop. Like
yes,
and it's glass.
Well, somebody fucked with me and was like, I forget, it was like 2 generation iPhones ago, and they're like, oh, the virtual keypad's coming. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that sounds kind of cool. And I'm like, what is that? And so I'm reading something, and it's like, oh, when you turn your phone on and you're in an app that you're gonna have to type, like a holographic keyboard will appear on your like desk, so that you're like, so for fat thumb guys like me that fucking are like just rage every day because I make 1,000 typos like through in the course of my texting all day.
Yeah,
like typos, dude, for days. So like that concept of like a keyboard, like putting your phone out like this, and then the keyboard like it beams an image of a keyboard that it's operable, like it's just a hologram. So I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's coming. So I was super excited, only to find out it was like bullshit. So I was like,
wow, dude, that's still coming.
Like, but
that is still coming.
That tech's definitely coming, right? I mean, it's only a matter of time. You know?
Wow,
so it's crazy.
Yeah, right. we always end up back in the AI fucked up world.
I mean, it's
coming, baby.
It's kind of our world, dude. I don't think there's any avoiding it. You know, I mean, at this point, like, I mean, tech is our entire life.
We can't go backwards.
Yeah,
we can. We can go backwards when we
go back to Wild West.
We can go backwards when we bomb everybody, right? When we just implode.
I mean, it's going to be the Wild West again. Well, it's not going to be It's AI is going to like detonate nukes and like get rid of us super fast. So that's what. I mean, that's that whole movie that's coming out. Like I think this month, whatever it's called, with the AI movie that everyone was like laughing. Oh, let's put this trailer on for Bob. His mind will explode. And,
yeah,
like, he'll be huddled in his like fucking bunker. But when that's the concept, like AI, the technology we built to protect us has turned its back on us, and and it detonates a nuke, fucking destroys civilization. But yeah, man, it's interesting. But yeah, we have to have another AI thing because I like to rant. I need to rant about that like every couple months.
I like to make a good thumbnail. I'm gonna put your head on something else. Like, exactly. No, we'll get another AI episode going. I like the one we did with, it wasn't specifically AI, but the one with us and Jay, Dan, me, you, and Jay. Yeah. I thought that was cool.
That was great. Well, I'm up for all of them, dude.
That was a good crew.
Yeah, See, this is a bit fun. We did some true crime, and we slipped into some other shit. You know,
This is the way it should
we're
be.
very
man.
versatile.
Very
I mean,
versatile.
You and I could fucking lock it. Like, I'm gonna have to petition the people to say we're gonna get rid of Dan. I'm gonna move into the perma seat. Never, Dan. I love you.
Ricky was in the chat there. He's disappeared on me. He might have passed out.
Oh, see how convenient.
Where are you at, Ricky?
What are you doing?
Now we'll definitely keep these. This is the way it should be, though. Yeah, we can touch on everything, right? Like we're just free flowing here, baby.
Great. It's great, dude. You know, I mean, I could talk for hours, bro.
That's why I like having you on here, dude. It's easy. Like we're just literally hanging out. I don't have to do any work
because you and I are able to have more of a fluid conversation instead of like just me talking all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I like being able to interact with you, but you know, if we're talking about shit, like you gotta. You know, I have to talk because I'm trying to like impart knowledge on people. So
yeah, and like you're the expert. That's why you're here.
I mean,
you're the fucking expert, dude. You're the man.
Hearing your golden pipe, though, Steve-O. Like, I love hearing that voice. Man. You know? Makes me feel happy. Your voice makes me feel happy. That's all
I love that. I love that. Guys, thank you all so
much.
A
friendly voice. Has anyone ever told you that? Like your voice is friendly. I don't know. Like if I were to try to describe your voice to somebody, I would say friendly. Like when you hear, like I would never think that you were not a friendly person. Based like me. You hear me, you're probably thinking, wow, that guy's probably like a giant dick. You know what I mean?
You could be, right?
Right. I mean, you've got that, like, just that friendly, like, jovial voice. I feel like I'm going to be, like, hugged by your voice.
I have a hard time, like, getting angry. Like, you know, it happens, but I try to keep everything pretty positive and chill.
You're a positive guy, man. I love that about you.
As much as I can.
I mean, the first time I saw you pop off, was like when we started like with the Turtle Boy Karen Reed shit. That was like the first time I saw Steve bare his fangs a little bit, man. Like I forget, like somebody irritated the fuck on you, and it wasn't on a stream; it was on Twitter. Like somebody you were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You were like you took exception to some stupid shit because like if you're in the Twitter wars. You're always going to get the trolls that are just going to keep poking you and poking you and poking you.
They're endless.
You know, and it's like
they don't stop.
Oh my God, it's relentless, man. Like, and I don't block people. I just refuse to do it. Like,
I don't block anybody.
I don't resort to name calling, and I won't block them. I kill them with kindness.
That's the best way. Killing them with kindness, dude.
That's right. The hope is it's like the Martin Luther King thing where, you know what? He's like, well, we need to televise us being just pummeled by the law enforcement all the time because we need America to see it so that America understands what's going on. Because the only thing that's going to stop them is America seeing it at large, the world seeing how we're being treated, and them being made to feel and understand that they're treating human beings like fucking animals. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with that on a much smaller scale and much less offensive in terms of like, you know, like I have like these people that just sit there and they'll just fucking call people names like for hours on Twitter. Like, oh, what's up, you fucking dumbass? What's
they
up,
won't stop.
Fuck? And I'm like,
and it's not even good insults. It's like
it's not just stupid. I'm like, dude, like you're like, I'm like, oh,
dude.
burn.
I actually have respect for a good troll. If you're a good troll and you're putting a little bit of work in, like you have a little bit of knowledge behind what you're trolling, all right, cool. Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah,
like, I'll give a tip of the cap. I'm like, at least you're coming with some receipts.
That's how I am.
You know, instead of just you're coming in name calling, just being a douche.
I hate that.
Man.
I hate that. Yeah, on Twitter I have randomly it's happened where I'll get a little bit crazier than I need to probably.
There, like, yeah, I mean, like yesterday, because like the prosecutors, their 14th episode, like they did like an epic, fucking like 14 episode run for the Adnan Syed case, and they came out and they declared him guilty. So and like everybody saw it coming all, but like that's a very divided case. Like
we talked about that one.
People think, yeah. You know, half the people think that he's innocent, half the people think he's guilty. And they vacated his conviction like recently. Like there's a whole thing going on with that case right now. So, you know, it made a lot of waves. Like you had the two warring camps. So I was like firmly entrenched in that war yesterday. And I'm like, I'm the fence guy. Like, I'm on the fence. I'm like, until I dig into a case, until I look at the facts personally, because I just don't, I go with my own opinion based on my own thoughts, based on my own observations of the evidence and the facts. I don't read an article and come to a conclusion. I don't listen to a podcast and come to a conclusion unless that podcast has laid out every single fact that I can be certain that I've seen every single fact and every piece of evidence. Because otherwise you get the cherry picking shit. You get the making a murder. Like when they made that thing, they kept out because we're doing the Avery thing now, and like I was going to do a short one. Like I told Allison, we'll make this like six episodes on our coverage of the Avery case, because I really just want to dive into her PCRA, her Post-Conviction Relief Act thing, because she unveiled some new shit, some new evidence. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like I got to dig in. Like, well, we're going to go through I'm going to go through every trial transcript. I'm going to know every fucking piece of evidence the state had against him. And for the first time, all my listeners are going to know every piece. Because when you watch that, they left out like that he left DNA, or there was his DNA found on the trunk thing to open the trunk, whatever that mechanism's called. That his fucking like DNA was found on that. They just didn't mention that in the documentary. So they're leaving out
little pieces,
huge pieces of evidence in order to couch something a certain way.
I hate that shit, dude. I hate that.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, dude.
Like I mean, it's like,
give us the story.
I think enough.
Yeah, give us the facts and let us lay it out. Yeah, I hate when shit's being picked and there's something else going on behind the scenes.
You're cherry picking shit,
exactly.
In order to make him appear more fucking innocent. And it's like, I'm like, you really didn't even need to do that. I mean, there was like a really, really good argument for his innocence. And now, once Zellner dug in, I mean, when she's fucking on something, she is an absolute beast. Like, if she really believes somebody's like she is Allie, if Allie was not doing like trial work, if Allie was doing appellate work, like Allie would dig in like Kathleen Zellner, where like if she really believes somebody's innocent, she goes to great lengths to prove that person is innocent and to get them out of prison, So that's amazing. But dude, she's gotten like she's really uncovered some like new witnesses, like smoking gun type witnesses.
Wow.
So like when I'm going to review that case, and I'm on the fence, like I always am, until it's my case and I'm looking at it and I'm checking out all the facts and all the evidence, then I'm going to make a conclusion. And it's still only an educated guess. I say it all the time. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I wasn't at the Avery property that day. So for me to sit and say anything definitively is bullshit. For anybody to do it is bullshit. You see me Twitter that, like I tweet that shit all the time. I'm like, dude, you weren't fucking there. Quit acting like you know what the fuck happened. It's what you think happened. That's your educated guess, and that's all it is. And it's not one thing beyond that.
Yeah, that's
unless you were there, because like yesterday there was some dude that just kept coming at me. He's like, "Oh, the rose in the car." He's talking about Adnan. I'm like, you were tight with Xuming Li, like y'all were tight. Were you like, when was the last time you drove in her car with her, so you knew the state of her car all the time? And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, shut the fuck up. You didn't know her at all."
Cherry picked a fact that works for his argument at that point in time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
you're picking out facts that work for your narrative, and you kind of roll from there. So I try to avoid that like the plague. So needless to say, this Avery thing's going to be fucking 25 episodes.
You got to go deep.
Dig into it.
Got to go deep,
man. That's how I do. Because like I already had people like, "Oh, you fucked up about the lawsuit." I'm like, "Oh God, here it's going to start." Because when a case like that, when you cover a case like that on a pod, people that are serious about cases and like really follow, like anybody that's following Idaho 4 that like obsesses about it, they're gonna know everything. So if I fuck up on a fact in there, I'm hearing from them. But on my pod, I'm like, look, I know there's going to be people that have like religiously studied this case more than I have. If I fuck it up, DM me.
Let me know about it.
Correction. It's important to me.
That's the way to do it, I think, too.
I got no problem making corrections if I fuck something up. Like that ain't my game. Like I do the best that I can, but I got a lot of pokers in the fire. Like I only have one brain. I can only remember so many facts. When I can like kind of speak on 30 different cases, how much shit's going in my brain.
Yeah, that's true, dude. Like you're always able to just bring at any given moment one of these random cases out. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
You're putting in so much time. And then putting in not only just talking about the cases, dude, like you know them in the ins and outs of them. Like, and again, the ones that you're going to be putting on your podcast, you want to make sure that you do know the ins and outs. That's a lot of work, dude.
Ins and outs.
Like any of these episodes that I do on here, where like the Tuesday one, when I kind of went into the BTK killer, like I'm almost going into that from, you know, a 0 and have to make it to 100, and you have to make it make sense in the middle. I don't know. Like you want it to,
especially if you're going to get like Kerry Rawson on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
you don't want it to be fucked up.
On. Like you want to have a baseline. Yeah. I mean, for us, like we're literally right now reading all of the police reports, which is thousands of pages on the Avery case, and the trial transcripts. The trial transcripts are 4,000 pages.
Dude,
so
that is crazy.
But I'm people are going to be able to feel very comfortable with the fact that when they listen to the docket and our Avery coverage, that I'm putting every fucking fact in there on both sides. And then we're going to evaluate. So once everybody knows all the facts, all the evidence they had, planted or not, whatever the argument is with the planting, they're going to know that it was out there. And then we're going to go through the PCRA petition, okay, where she is claiming that she's got affidavits from new witnesses that weren't even new, like that saw shit that make all the difference in the world, you know, that like, so we're going to put it all together, man. And we're going to land on whether or not Avery's guilty or not. So it'll be a good one, man.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be, it changed from like a little guy to like a big guy. It's going to be a big guy.
Definitely looking. And have you already started record? No, you're still going through all the shit. When is your plan to get that going?
We've dropped 2 episodes, but like I'm basically on the 3rd episode, I'm going to be doing a backtrack. I'm going to be telling people, look, I was going to do this short form.
Going to be a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, I go, like,
that's the way to do it, man.
So we're gonna have to backtrack, and like we had dropped like background. Like the first episode was basically Avery's history, you know, like in terms of it, like the shit that went on in his life prior. So we didn't really like, we haven't dove into the facts too much. So it's like there's not too much backtracking, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. Like I got to give the people all the knowledge. I got to give them all the facts, because it's the only way. Knowing everything is the only way that we'll be able to collectively decide whether or not we think he's innocent or guilty. Because, like, I don't know if any of our viewers out here have like fucked with the prosecutor's thing. The coverage is great, you know, and like I don't necessarily agree with them, you know, but they sell it. And it's like, and it's a perfect example of like a good narrative. Like Alice, who's one of the hosts, she crushes like her closing at the end. Like it reminded me of like what my season 2 of Garcia is, where I'm writing, you know, these characters and trying to put myself in their mind as to what they would have been feeling and observing at certain points. And it reminded me of that, because she was like basically putting herself in Adnan's mind, like going into that day. And she gave a super compelling, you know, argument. But it, like, the problem for me is that it's generalizations about teens and about love and about, you know, like a jilted lover and how enraged he was. It's like
playing on those emotions.
Like, you didn't really know these people.
Yeah,
you know, you're
she's a good storyteller.
Generalization. She's good. She's
just kind of scary, man.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
like
that's it. A good narrative. Good narrative wins cases, man. So yeah, y'all look forward to the Avery shit. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and what a fucking awesome night, Bob, dude. I can't, again, thank you enough for coming on here on late fucking notice, dude.
You know, I love you, dude.
Tomorrow night, Feral Friday, we are going to have Kerry Rawson on here. Dan should be returning, and yeah, tomorrow night should be a good show. I hope everyone can come and hang out. It starts 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a completely different show.
If y'all have not fucked with Kerry Rawson and like heard what she's saying, you guys need to check that out. I mean, man, she's got some knowledge that like maybe 3 people on the planet, like that are children of serial killers, have. And the difference is like she's the only one who's willing to share it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
she's so open.
She just has
open book on it.
She has like, dude, tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and call it a can't miss. Like, everybody needs to be there for that. If for whatever reason you cannot watch it, make sure you watch that shit on the sly in your bed.
Absolutely.
Like, the next day, whatever. You do watch that stream, because it's going to be golden. Like, she's great. She's amazing, and she's super candid. You know, she just talks about shit that you'll never hear about from anybody else because no one has those stories.
No, did you see her on Surviving the Survivor this week?
I didn't. No,
dude, that's a must watch. That was fucking so good, man. Like,
really
unbelievable, dude. Well, the Coffin Daffer's on there, but besides, it was great. Like, it was awesome. It was fucking awesome, man. But you know, the main reason to be watching it is because of the stuff that Carrie's saying, basically. For sure. Yeah, dude, she's gonna be coming on here tomorrow night, and we're fucking excited, dude. Like, we're excited for her to come on. I mean, like, I never thought, and just we're gonna be ending this here in a second, but I never thought that Publicly Buzzed would be what it's kind of forming into, and I'm so grateful for everyone, dude. Like, it's just been amazing. Like,
it's amazing, dude. It's like we got the best community in the world.
We do. We do.
And that's not like a generalization. We are worldwide, so it is the best community, literally, in the world.
Right here, right at the end, Lol, Nerd Amber, to those who gift memberships, and to Bob and Steven Mobs. Bam, 2 months. That's awesome. Love it, love it. Let me hit you with a little something here, a little roll about.
What do you got? You got anything? You got it? Can we get one clip at least?
Is that coming through?
On a clip?
Hold on.
No, we don't hear shit, Steve. We hear nothing.
Oh my God! 1 second, I'll get you one. Let me get you one. Here we go. There it is. Hold on. That's still not coming through?
No, we don't hear shit. I don't hear shit. Maybe the people.
Is it coming through for y'all? And it might be coming through the chat. I don't know. It might have been like when I made this thing tonight. I actually made a new window. Sometimes when I make new windows, you have to bring over like some of the other sounds. So maybe that's it. But if not, tomorrow night we're gonna have the sounds in full effect. I will make sure. Wow, we've made it to Friday. Friday Eve in our hearts, and we are here, baby. Feral Friday is gonna be here before you know it. 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Lit. Super lit.
It's gonna be lit as fuck. Yeah, Bob, thank you, brother. I love you, man. This has been dope. Dan, I hope you make it back tomorrow. Where the hell are you? What are you doing?
Let's go, Dan.
You done lost your spot, Daddy.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm sending in my resume like right now. And,
I just got
Steve's
that.
Gonna have a decision to make.
I just got that.
All right, guys. I adore you, Dan. I miss you guys. I was happy to jump on. I had a blast, and I'll be creeping in the chats tomorrow. You know,
nice. Hell yeah, everybody. Have a good Friday. See you tomorrow night, Bob. Thanks, dude.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass.